Steve, what's your question again? I'm joking. I think it was what keeps us inspired, or what inspires us.
What inspired you to start being an actress?
So, I thought it would always be fun to be in a sci-fi, fantasy. I mean, I love the fantasy genre, and actually when the audition came up for this, it didn't even say Kamen Rider Dragon Knight. It actually, I think it was Ventura County. So my agent didn't really even know what it was, and once I met Steve and Mike, and they gave us all the info, that was really cool, because then we started to, you know, do our research as good actors and find out what it was. But you know, this show, looking back on it, it's really, I mean, it's really amazing to have worked with Steve and Nathan, and, you know, everyone here was just so great to work with. I mean, you know, in the acting business, it can be, you know, interesting sometimes, but they were really great. So this show definitely kept me inspired to do more. Thanks, Steve.
Wow, hey. I never really wanted to be an actor, and I don't know how I got here. No, I never knew that you could do that for a living or something. And I was, although I do remember fondly watching all of Chuck Norris's movies when I was a kid, wanted to kick butt, and which caused me to go to lots of martial arts classes and whatnot. But I was actually at UCLA getting my PhD in mechanical engineering, design and fusion energy systems for the Department of Energy. Truthfully. And I had to give a lot of presentations to a lot of people, and it kind of made me shy, and I would get sweaty and start stuttering. And so I took an acting class that also might have pretty girls in it. And someone said, hey, there was a scene, I think I had to do some scene about a guy who lost his arm in the war. And someone said, hey, that was a pretty good scene. You want to meet this agent? And within a couple of weeks, I had a meeting at lunch. I was studying for a test, and they said, you want to go to CBS? And I went. And then a guy named Aaron Norris said, I want him. And they said to me, can you go to Texas on Friday? And I had midterms on Friday, so I said, sure. You bet. And then they said, oh wait, can you rollerblade? Never rollerbladed in my life, but I said, you bet. And then I walked out the door, and he said, oh, Chuck, this is the guy for the episode. And it was Chuck Norris, and I was going to Texas to do an episode of Walker, Texas Ranger for his job. And they picked me up in a limo, first limo I'd ever been in. And I flew there in first class, first time I ever had first class. And for 2 weeks, I got to run around and beat people up and play pretend and shoot guns. And I came back and I said, geez, I don't ever want to do that again. So since I'd skipped midterms, I really couldn't go back to school, and I went and played pretend and shot guns and beat people up for a living.
My question is for all actors who played riders. When you guys were showing your family and friends, did they ever confuse you with Power Rangers?
Yeah. There was like, is that Power Rangers? But they were like, wow, but your guy has fur on his thing. I don't remember there being any furry Power Rangers, so I guess that helped. But I think there are people who get it a little mixed up.
Yeah, my favorite thing to tell people is like, oh yeah, I was on a Emmy-winning kids series called Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, trying to play it up as much as possible. And they're like, so what's that show like? I'm like, Power Rangers. And I remember the entire time we were filming, it was like, okay, not like Power Rangers. I'm like, okay, it's not like Power Rangers, cool. And then like every day, trying to describe it to people, I'm like, oh, it's just like Power Rangers. Yeah, that's good. That's a good answer. That's pretty much it. Yeah, that's exactly right. That seems right.
Well, you know, since I like to wear the suit around a lot, I've gotten multiple comments about that. No, I don't know. I think it is actually. It's a little bit like it's a little bit like Power Rangers, but I thought it had a lot of great themes and a lot of kick-ass action and a heck of a.
Last question. Last question.
For both Matt and Steven, how do you guys like working with Mark DeCastro, the Irish chef?
And you know, also to that last question, I thought when I started doing it, started seeing some of the stuff, I thought someday shows are gonna come out and they're gonna say that's a lot like Kamen Rider.
Yeah.
Working with Mark Dacascos was really, for me, it was a dream come true because Only the Strong was one of my favorite movies when I was a kid.
Yeah.
It was outstanding. And then of course, Drive. I saw Drive. It was outstanding. So when Steve was like, I was begging Steve and Mike, they're like, you know, thinking about getting, Mark Dacascos to play the Advent Master. I was like, you gotta get him. Like, they're like, well, he might have another project to do. I'm like, well, can we move it up? Like, there's gotta be something we can do. Mark's gotta be the Advent Master. And
Crash his house.
yeah, I'm just like, crash his house. After I finish my midterm, though. So yeah, working with Mark was really for me a dream come true. And then I got to do an acting scene with him and an action scene. So I have footage of myself and Mark Dacascos fighting. I lose that one too, but it was outstanding. He's a great guy overall and who I would like to emulate my career after. So yeah.
He's a great guy, and he can do a lot of push-ups. I'm not kidding. That was like the first thing. I didn't know who he was until he showed up on set and everything, and I was like, oh, that's the Advent Man. Okay, that's cool. All right, cool. And I'm like walking to my trailer as I'm doing that. He brought those, the perfect push-up things. Yeah. And he just put them down. I'm not kidding. I just saw that guy do 100 push-ups in a second. I was like, oh wow.